Hey guys, it's Missy Wolf, and I want to introduce you guys all to Kelli Brogan, who is absolutely amazing and from Australia, and I already love her. How are you?
Thanks for that.
No problem. Oh my gosh, I have to tell you that I have been completely captivated by your singing voice. It is truly just refreshing, and it's just welcoming, and it's like home. I love it. I'm addicted to your cover of The Way We Were. I can listen to that over and over and over. So I want to know, growing up, who was your biggest influence for your love of music?
I think actually I had a bit of an eclectic sort of mix of music that I was introduced to from a very young age. Mm-hmm. And my mum was a big country music fan, so we listened to a lot of country music. But then I loved musicals and that as well. So, and because my grandparents lived with us, so I had a huge range of different things from Frank Sinatra right through. So, but for me, I think my biggest love of singers was Barbra Streisand, and then from there went to Whitney Houston and Celine Dion and artists like that, because I just loved the way they told a story through their music, and it just constantly connected to your emotions. And so I think that's where I hope my music will develop into at some point, because that's really what I would love my fan base to get across. So.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, your success of your current single, Till the End, I mean, you're already, getting radio play, and I want to give a shout out to 92.6 The Blitz, because they have been showing you a lot of love, and I think it's great, and I'm so excited every time I see a post on Twitter. I'm like, yes, I love it.
I must admit, I'm very excited myself with that, because it's great to have somebody appreciate music other than your family. So right. I do appreciate them doing it. They've been fantastic.
Right. I was actually, one of my last conversations that I had, we were talking about how, when you put out music, there's that point where okay, your family, they're just going to like it because they're your family. They're going to tell you they like it no matter what. So sometimes it's more nerve-wracking to have your friends or neighbors listen to it, because your family is going to support you, So I think
that's very true.
Exactly. But you have a very interesting, start to your music career, and I think it's so much fun that I read that you guys used to have road trips in the car, or on your car trips, that you guys would all sing along in the car. And my daughters and I do that all the time. So I'm so interested on how all of that went for you, and were these long trips, and how did you guys do all that?
Yeah, well, my brother and I and my mum were all connected to ballroom dancing. And my mum had done it when she was younger, and she put my brother and I into it because we wanted to learn. And so a lot of our competitions were interstate here in Australia. So for us to get from Melbourne to Sydney, or from Melbourne to Adelaide, or to Queensland, and my mum being a single mum, we didn't have a lot of money, so it was not an option for us to fly. So we would get in a car, and my grandparents would go, and off we go, up to Sydney, 10 hours or whatever to Sydney, and so we'd sing country music or whatever we decided to play that day. We know there was anything from Dr. Hook to Frank Sinatra to Barbra Streisand to country, whatever sort of happened. And so we'd sing along, and everybody would have their own one. Sometimes we liked it, and the one was chosen, and sometimes you didn't, but you sang along anyway. And so I think music was always that family connection as well as something that we enjoyed, outside of that. So it was great.
Oh, that is great. And when I read that you guys took car trips, and I'm thinking, okay, how long are these trips? I just knew that they weren't like 20, 30-minute trips like what mine are with my kids. But I have to tell you, I'm the one who I can't sing for anything for the life of me. I just have no singing voice. But my daughter, my 14-year-old, she's great, and she can sing these high notes that I could never reach at all ever. So I always get stuck doing the male parts of all the duets with her, and it's just really funny. But I imagine your car trip sounded a lot better than ours do. So that's great. And does your brother sing as well, or no?
What my brother does have, he's not got a bad voice. If you ask him, he tells you he can't sing. If he's being sensible, he actually can, but he chooses not to. He prefers to sing some heavy metal, or some Bon Jovi, or Iron Maiden, or something like that. He's a little bit different in his music taste, but then at the same time, you'll listen to country music and jazz and all that sort of stuff. So we have a very broad range of music that the whole family listens to, but we also have those little quirky things that we prefer than the others do. So
Right. I think that's great, and it's so nice to see that you guys have a close relationship. I mean, you guys danced together, and I mean, you were partnered together in competitions, weren't you?
Yeah, we do. When we were in junior, we danced together. My brother was very, very shy. He wanted to learn to dance and he wanted to compete, but he didn't want to have to dance with anybody else. And because I'd had a bit of a theatrical background before that, I was more than happy to give it a go. And so I danced with him, and we were quite successful as juniors. And then, needless to say, I got too old because I'm older than him, and I moved off into the amateur ranks, and he stayed in junior. But the two of us continued to dance right through. And then he moved to Europe and danced the European circuit, and I stayed home in Aussie, in Oz, and then I was lucky enough to dance some world championships in Europe, and but I flew in and out where he tended to be based in Europe, and then he's now moved home, and so it's great that we're all still back here. He granted is in Queensland, so a couple of states away, but that's not so bad. It's a little bit quicker to get to him now than it was when he was living in England. So, but yeah, no, it was great. It was a terrific, trippy experience for both of us.
Oh, that sounds incredible. I mean, that's something that not everybody can say that they have, I mean, and you got to travel along with that, which is just really phenomenal. I think it's great. And, hopefully it gave you some extra experiences that, have helped you with your career along the way. And,
certainly.
When I read further that, and as you got older and then you developed a brain aneurysm, or you were diagnosed with it.
Yes.
I actually had a friend that went through that, and we almost lost her. She was doing a show. She was hosting a show, like the home parties that people do, like the Tupperware and stuff like that. She was doing one of those types of things, and she was the consultant, and she collapsed in front of everybody.
Oh, gosh.
And it was absolutely awful. So I know firsthand how scary that is. So when I read that, my heart just sank, and I thought, oh my gosh. So how has your life changed since that moment? Because I imagine you probably evaluate your life a lot different now than you did prior to the aneurysm.
Yeah, I think previously, because I was diagnosed with it on my birthday of all days, I had tingling and stuff as though I was having a stroke, sort of down the side of my left side of my face, and so it. I was at work and I got, they said to me, look, we need to get an ambulance, which I did, and that's when they found it. And unfortunately for us, we do have a history of aneurysm in our family, so that's when they checked and they said, look, you do have one. But I was very lucky because mine hadn't burst at that stage, and so they were able to coil it and fix it all up before anything happened. So I was very, very lucky in that respect.
Definitely.
But I think it has really changed my life, because I think for a long time I took my ability to sing and my love of it very much for granted. It was like, yeah, you know what, I'll dance now, and then later on I'll sing, and if something happens, great, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And then when I sort of had this happen, I sort of stepped back and thought, gee, I might not have even been here had they not found that. Something could have seriously happened, as you've known with your friend. And so I sort of sat there and I thought, right, if that's the case, what am I actually doing that I really enjoy doing? That's my passion. And at that stage, because, I'd been a school teacher and I loved that, and I love working with the kids, but at the same time I thought, is it really who I am?
Right.
And so then that's when I made a CD, a Christmas CD for the Stroke Foundation to raise some money for our Stroke Foundation here, and that went quite well. And then that's how I ended up getting into this, doing my album and my singles, because a producer was there at the time that happened and said to me, oh, I'd love you to try this song, would you mind? And I said, no, I love to do that. And so I think I sort of I don't take life for granted now. Right. I sort of think to myself, if something comes up that's an opportunity that I would have once gone, well, maybe not, I don't sort of think about it as much. I might be still nervous to give it a go, but I'm more likely to say, yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Than what I was previously. So
absolutely, and I think that's incredible. And by you sharing your story as well, you don't know how many people you're going to be actually helping, because there's a lot of people out there who are afraid. They're afraid to go after what they want, or they're not sure how to go after what they want, or they're just they're just really not really sure about what they want to do. And I think by hearing a story like yours, it, it could resonate with someone like, oh, wow, I really should take this seriously. I really should, do what I can, because tomorrow is never promised for any of us. And,
That's right.
and so, and unfortunately, things like this do happen for people. And I'm so sorry that this happened for you. But at the same time, I am so glad. That was probably the best birthday present looking back, because the fact that they found it early, that is definitely a happy birthday, because when brain aneurysms, the rate on those is not very good when they've ruptured on people. And so, I praise God for you, man. I'm so glad that worked out the way that it did, because definitely you are a very gifted woman, very talented. And, I could listen to your CD all day long. I really could. It's just, you have one of those voices that is, it's what we all miss, right? I don't think that there are enough singers like you in the music world. And, it's just, to me, you bring back the part of female country music that I loved listening to growing up. And, you have your own style and a new style and a fresh style as well. But in the covers that I've seen, it's just like, it just takes you back. And it's beautiful. Yeah. And I love that. And no wonder why you've sang at so many events and weddings and festivals, because I imagine everybody wants that.
No, and look, I really appreciate that you have enjoyed it so much, because exactly what I'm wanting to give people in my music, it sounds like you're getting from what I'm doing. And so I'm just absolutely honoured to think that people are willing to listen, and the fact that they are listening and appreciating it and enjoying it. And that's what I want, out of anything in the world. I think as an artist, you want people to enjoy your music, and whether you get recognition for that or not, I think I'm at a point now, because of all the stuff we've just been talking about, where I just want to sing. And if that means that people actually get to hear me sing, I'm absolutely wrapped. It's one of the best feelings in the world.
That's great. And I have to ask you on a side note, you were talking about working at a school, and I saw a picture of you on Twitter, and you were dressed as a mascot. And
yes, I was.
I was dying. I saw that, and I'm like, no, that's not her. Because at first I saw it on Facebook, and I wasn't sure by how it was titled if it was you or not. And then I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, oh my gosh, that really is her. That's how she went to work that day. Did you stay in that costume all day?
Yeah. Most of the day. Because I at the moment, until my singing career becomes the one thing that I can do, as a professional career, right. I'm still a music teacher. And so we had footy day or sports day at school, right. So all the kids dressed up in their favourite sporting colours and things. And unfortunately for me, and people like it or not here in Australia, I am a Collingwood supporter, and it's not one of the best places to be at this point at the moment. But I didn't have a choice in that. My granddad gave me a beanie from the day I was born, and so I kind of got, drafted in.
Yep,
so,
yep.
And so as a bit of fun, I thought, you know what? The kids love it when you dress up, and we've had Minion dress ups, and we have booklet dress ups and all that sort of stuff. And I thought, right, they're all going to wear their colours. I'm going as a mascot. So I came to work dressed as the Collingwood mascot, and some of them booed me, some of them cheered me. We had a bit of fun with it all, and the kids love it, and so and to see the expressions on their faces, it's just absolutely beautiful. I think the greatest gift of all is laughter, and kids, they just, they say it exactly how it is, and I love spending time with them because of that.
Definitely. And you know what? For me, there is just nothing better than when you see a child smiling or laughing, and it's just one of the greatest feelings in the world when you have put that smile on that person's face, on that child's face, and it just, to me, it just lights up the whole world. And so, kudos to you for that. So bringing some fun in the classroom. That's great. I love it. Oh my gosh, that's great.
Not a problem.
It was just fun. Well, it brought a lot of fun to Twitter too, because I was sitting here cracking up laughing. I was like, oh, she really has no idea how many people are like cracking up right now at this picture. It's great. And the other thing that I found, the other thing I found entertaining was your mom and the rabbit. How long?
Oh, yeah.
How long has she been trying to feed that rabbit and make it friendly?
Well, we actually don't know where the rabbits come from. It lives across the road in the house across the road. But one night a car pulled up late, and then within the next few days this rabbit appeared. So it doesn't belong to anybody in our street. But he lives there, and he goes and he eats the neighbour's grass when he feels like it or whatever. And so the neighbour was getting a little bit annoyed that he was eating it. But now we've been going over, dropping pallets, and different people have been giving lettuce, and so the whole street sort of feeds this rabbit. And so my mum goes out every night looking for him, and so this particular night she got closer and closer, and he just kept coming back to her, and I thought, this was amazing. So I said, so we got a little bit of footage of it and some photos, and it's just a bit of a standard joke in our street. We could get the closest to this rabbit and actually, see if they could feed him, and she seems to be able to do it, and she has a bit of a way with animals and kids anyway, so yeah, we sort of predicted it might have been her, and yeah, she did it, and so we've had a bit of a laugh at it. She had a laugh at it. She said to me, because there was one shot that I took of her that actually was from the back, and she said, "Don't you dare put that on," because she said, "My rear end does not need to be on Twitter." I said, "Oh, okay, fair enough." So, we have a good sense of humour in our house, and so with that we laughed, and that's how that one ended up on Twitter. So.
Oh, that's so funny. That's great. I love it. And I love that she was able to get close enough to the rabbit. We have a neighborhood squirrel, and every morning my kids will be walking out to the car. I'm getting ready to take them to school, and I'll see the squirrel, and I'll call it, and it'll come to me. But when the kids are there, it wants to run away from them, but it always comes to me. And my kids are like, "How do you do that?" I'm like, when you have food, they come to you, But now the squirrel will come when you just say, "Come here," and it'll come to you. And if you don't have food, it'll run away. But it comes to you to smell and check you out first. And that's one of the coolest things, though. I love that, and good for your mom. Keep feeding that rabbit. That's great. The neighbor shouldn't be mad. It's all good. That little bunny needs a home. Oh my gosh. That's so cute. And something else that I wanted to ask you, because, there's been a lot of talk about the television show Nashville being canceled. And I saw that you had posted something. So are you a huge Nashville fan?
I am. I must admit, my mum and I both. We always go to, sit down, make sure we're at home at that time of the night when it comes on here in Australia. And I just love it. I love the music. I love the storylines. I love everything about it. And, I followed most of the stars from that show on Twitter because I just love to hear their, behind-the-scenes banter and all that sort of stuff. And it's just been a shame that it's cancelled because to me it was just a piece of television that we've missed for so long. Having music and drama and all those things that we don't always get. So much real life television, as they call it now. I prefer the drama series and those sort of series than watching everyday people cooking or whatever. So I'm not going to have anything against that sort of show, but I just love, the entertainment of these sort of shows. And so I must admit myself, probably every day, I think, to make sure that it tries, somebody picks it up and puts it back on the air because I just love it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the outpouring of support for this show has just been incredible to watch. And I actually was very, very lucky to interview or have a conversation with Sam Palladio, who plays Gunnar Scott.
Yes.
And let me tell you, man, just speaking to him for the few minutes that I did, so nice, such a wonderful, person, but just the love that, he had for the character that he plays, it just really came through in the experiences. And I just thought, man, this is great. And I just interviewed him maybe a few weeks before they announced the show was being canceled. And I was like, no, they can't do this. And everybody here, my neighbor, oh my gosh, my one neighbor, she's just beside herself. She is so sad that this show is canceled. And, and I know that that's kind of like the general consensus, that I've heard is just everybody is not happy about it. So we're kind of all secretly hoping, I think, that, somebody picks it up and they continue to film because it really is such a great show and so many people look forward to it. And if you could have seen the amount of people that were packed inside this stage where Sam Palladio was performing, all of these Nashville fans, I mean, it was crazy. People were spilling out into the outside areas of the stage that he was at because I mean, everybody wanted to see him, and it was just so great to see that come to life. And so to hear that news was kind of devastating for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my gosh. Well, what do you have coming up? I know you have your current single out till the end. Right now, that was released in April. Do you have any other things coming up?
Yeah, no, I had another single that I released September last year before, like, I sort of had any real fan base or anything, which I've been very lucky. I've been getting a lot of fan base in America, and
right.
I'm so grateful to American people for, picking up my music. I've got in the works at the moment. I'm in the middle of putting together an album which will be released around about late August, early September. We were hoping to have it a bit earlier, but there's been a few problems with different people getting sick, or my producer had to have a knee operation, so it's all been a bit up and down. But yeah, we're hoping that it will be out in September, and quite a few of the songs I've written, co-written, and a few other people have written some of the songs on the album. So it's all to do with a lot of the songs are to do with life experiences, or just some of them are just friendly, fun sort of songs as well. So I'm hoping that people will be able to still, it'll appeal to a wider audience, and hopefully people will enjoy it as much as they seem to be enjoying what I've done so far. So
well, absolutely, and like I said, I mean your stories in your songs, and like you said as well, just being able to put those stories in the songs. That's just, it's what we love. It's what we live for in country music too, right? It's like the one genre where, stories is what makes the song. It's what makes the music. And I just think that's great. And I'm sure that you have a lot of fun stories included in there. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see what you have coming out. And so you said late August, early September. Do you have a name for that album or no?
I'm not as yet, no. I've had a few friends say to me different things. I'm actually wondering if maybe, anybody on Twitter that would like to make some suggestions, I'd be happy to. I'm going to actually, put some of the names of the actual songs up over the next few, over the next month, and just see if people think anything stands out that they think, oh, maybe that sounds great, or it's nice to think that people can interact with me and actually have some input into what happens, because I think that gives them a bit more of a connection to me as well, which is great, and allows me to feel closer to the people that follow me, which is great.
Oh, absolutely. And what a great idea. That is such an awesome opportunity for people too, because when they get involved, and then if their suggestion is chosen, they're going to be through the roof, just completely thrilled that you took notice of their suggestion and you went with it. I mean, that could be so amazing for so many people. So what a really cool idea to put out there. And that's something that I haven't heard anyone else do. So awesome. I think it's a good idea. I might throw in a few suggestions.
That'd be great. I look forward to hearing it.
That'd be awesome. All right. Well, I will make sure that everybody has links to all of your social media so that they can follow you. You have music on your website that people can listen to. You have videos, which are great. And man, I just can't wait to get you out there to more people. And thank you so much for taking the time. I know it's totally different time zone for you being in Australia versus where I'm at in California. So really, thank you so much for making yourself available to interview with me tonight. I really do appreciate it.
No, and thank you very much for the opportunity. I really appreciate that, you've taken the time to listen to my music and allow me to have this opportunity. So thanks again.
Absolutely, not a problem. Anything you have coming up, let me know. We'll promote it for you. Anything at all when your album is released, when you have a date, let me know. We'll blast it out there on all of our social media channels as well. And for everybody listening at home right now, you guys got to check out Kelli Brogan. She is absolutely phenomenal. You will not regret it. You're going to fall in love with her like I did immediately. So thank you so much, Kelli. Hopefully we'll be able to talk to you soon. But thank you again, and have a good rest of your night.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.